One Hearth-Swarming Eve, a fanfiction based off of the Aviators song of the same name. The snow fell calmly on the silent breeze, riding the still waves of chilling wind until each flake found a new home amongst the many structures. The sun rested on the edge of the horizon and waited for the moon to replace it for the coming night. No pony remained outside, having gone to their homes to spend the night with their families, or heading off to sleep early to prepare for Hearth-Swarming Day tomorrow. All except one pony at least. Snow crunched and spouted small puffs of powder with each step the lone stallion took. White flurries nested in his dark brown mane, eventually melting and soaking his hair to be frozen in the night's chill. This would soon result in a terrible cold, he thought. But he didn't mind so much, it was just life as usual for him. He kept on towards the town in front of him, Ponyville he believed, at a slow walk. He didn't expect much of a change of pace in this town compared to the last. He'd just pass through the town, no pony would recognize or acknowledge him, and he'd find a mildly comfortable place to sleep for the night. Somewhere in there he would have to find food, whether that would be leftovers thrown away from the last night's dinner, or a misplaced loaf of bread just in Hoof's reach. He didn't know. The brown stallion sighed as he shuffled through the growing layers of snow. He hadn't always been like this, a wandering pony who had to steal to live. No, once he'd had friends, a wife, and a well-paying job to support her. But he soon learned that fate's wheels didn't turn the way he'd like. Every window he passed was like a portrait of his past life. Families conversed and erupted in joyous laughter, and every one of them paid no attention to the problems in the outside world. They were all happy and shielded by the love that they all shared for one another. Phantoms of his past memories would invade those homes, replacing the ponies that made up the scenes with those that he once knew. A simple family of 3 huddled together by a cozy fire were banished from his vision, replaced by his parents and a much younger him. His father read from a book, aloud so he and his mother could hear. It was all silent to the stallion, but he knew the story must be funny because the whole family laughed. His younger self was the last to stop giggling, but he kept his smile, his happiness. The memorable scene faded, replaced by strangers. He tried to smile at their joy, but he couldn't help but frown at his own misfortune. That was no longer his life. Window after window shared the same joyous, innocent scene of gathered families basking in their company's love. None of them paid the wandering stallion any mind. He was just a ghost among the snow, an apparition that never existed in their lives. He wanted to look away from the happy scenes, to just retreat to the numbing fog of ignorance. But even in the snow beneath his hooves, he could see their smiles. So he would just look back at those portals to unreachable happiness in the hopes that a little of their joy would reach him. An aroma caressed the stallion's nostrils, wafted from across the wind and out what appeared to be a large gingerbread house. It was quite an interesting design for a building, but given that the pleasant aroma was of baked goods, not surprising. Perhaps they would be charitable enough to offer him a small bite to eat. He was hesitant at first, but a not-so-silent grumbling from his stomach urged him forward. He approached the door and raised a hoof to knock, but stalled. Would they even answer? Well, of course they would. Some pony was obviously home. But how would they react? If it was anything like his pass-through Canterlot, he'd probably be run off. Not every pony was unkind, and he knew that. But the last stop at a bakery had left a bad taste in his mouth. Literally. The owner obviously had not been pleased with his reaction, because he was chased off with a broom. That baker's temper was hotter than his ovens. It was unfair to assume that this baker, or their family, would be as unpleasant as that. But still, he hesitated. It would save a lot of trouble if he just moved on. With a sigh, he lowered his hoof and retreated from the doorway. He bowed his head and turned, ready to continue on his aimless voyage. But something caught his eye. In the window, a pony stared out at him, her smile warm and her blue eyes welcoming. Her mane was like cotton candy, as fluffy as a pillow, he thought. The mare waved at the stallion, catching him off guard. He slowly raised his hoof and mimicked her motions. Her smile widened and she disappeared from the window. Well, so much for that. At last, he was finally able to wear a genuine smile, even if it had only been for a moment. The stallion turned back to the road to continue his journey.
Hi!
"Ugh!" the stallion shouted, stumbling backwards into the snow. He could hear her giggling from in front of him.
Did I scare you? I scared you, didn't I?
The now shivering stallion looked up at the giggly pony. She was the same mare that he had just seen in the window, though now more clear. Her energy was contagious, willing him to get back up on his hooves. And her smile, it was a beautiful sight in this dreary world. She continuously hopped around him in utter joy. He cleared his throat nervously, causing this new mare to stop her hopping mid-hop. Who are you?" The pink mare plopped on the ground and smiled.
Oh, right, sorry. My name is Pinkie Pie. What's your name?
"Pinkie, huh? My name is, well, it's Dream Chaser, but you can call me Chase."
Oh, nice to meet you, Chase. I usually throw parties for new ponies in Ponyville, but you came to Ponyville so late, so I can't throw you a party because the twins are sleeping. But hey, why don't you come inside and I can at least serve you some cupcakes? I just finished baking a batch for tomorrow.
A deep growl from Chase's belly answered the question far quicker than words could. Pinkie giggled once more.
That sounds like a yes. Come on in and make yourself comfortable. It's a lot warmer inside.
She wasn't kidding about it being a lot warmer. As soon as Chase stepped into the building, the ice in his mane began to melt away. Pinkie walked in behind him, closing the door to the frozen world outside.
Huh? Why is there water on the floor?
Chase glanced down at his hooves. A puddle began to grow as water dripped from his thawing body. Oops. Sorry. The pink mare gave a carefree shrug and bounced past the puddle towards the back room.
No problemo. I'll have that pesky old puddle cleaned up in a jiffy.
She stopped and turned her head to face him.
Oh, I also see that you kind of look like a mess. If you'd like, you can use the bath. It's just up the stairs and to your right. Don't make too much noise, though. The twins are kind of easy to wake.
A bath sounded like heaven to the stallion, nice and warm and relaxing. A chance to soak his aching hooves, and just to clean off a week's worth of grime since his last chance to bathe in a steady river. Yes, perhaps a good, long soak in a nice, hot bath would do him a lot of good. With a slight smile, he accepted his gracious host's gift and trotted quietly up the stairs.